What if I told you? The scariest moments in horror have no loud noise, no doors slamming, no violin screech, no shadow jumping at the camera. And yet, your heart races anyway. Because real suspense doesn't attack you, it waits for you. Jump scares are cheap. They spike your adrenaline for 2 seconds, then disappear. But suspense? Suspense settles into your body. It makes you lean forward. It makes you scan the background. It makes you imagine something that isn't even there. And here's the disturbing part. Your brain often creates something far worse than any filmmaker could show you. Tonight, we're breaking down how to create suspense without using a single jump scare. And once you understand this, you'll never watch horror the same way again.
Where technology meets terror. Stay offline.
Suspense begins with anticipation, not with an event, but with the possibility of an event. Your brain is a prediction machine. It constantly tries to guess what happens next. When it senses uncertainty, it releases stress hormones, not because something happened, but because something might. That's the first secret. Instead of showing the threat, suggest it. A hallway that's slightly too dark. A door that's already open. A character who pauses like they heard something, but says nothing. Nothing happens. But your brain fills in the gap. This is where most creators make a mistake. They rush. They reveal too early. They give answers. Suspense survives on withheld information. The longer the audience asks, "What's going on?" the deeper they fall into the tension. And here's the key. You must delay resolution, but not clarity. The audience should understand the situation. They just shouldn't know the outcome. That gap between understanding and outcome is where suspense lives. If jump scares are lightning, suspense is a storm cloud forming slowly overhead. You don't know when it will strike, but you feel it building. And that feeling? That is the real psychological control. Most horror relies on noise, but silence is far more dangerous. When sound drops out, your brain heightens awareness. It searches. It listens harder. It becomes alert to micro details. Silence creates vulnerability. Imagine a scene with constant background music. Now, imagine that music slowly fading until there's nothing but air. You instantly feel exposed. That's because silence removes emotional guidance. There's no cue telling you how to feel, so your mind invents one. This is where true tension builds. Instead of loud cues, use subtle ones. A distant hum, breathing, the faintest ambient noise. Or even better, hold a moment just 1 second longer than comfortable. Humans are pattern-driven. When rhythm breaks, anxiety rises. If a shot normally lasts 3 seconds, hold it for 5. Your audience won't consciously know why they feel uneasy, but they will feel it. And that discomfort becomes addictive. Here's where suspense reaches its first peak. You've built anticipation. You've stretched silence. Now, you make the audience believe something is about to happen. But it doesn't. The door creaks open, and nothing is there. Relief floods in. But relief isn't safety, because now the audience knows you're capable of holding tension without payoff. And that uncertainty? It doubles the fear next time. Suspense isn't about delivering the scare. It's about teaching the audience to fear the wait. Fast horror overwhelms. Slow horror controls. When pacing slows, attention sharpens. Viewers start scanning the frame, listening harder, imagining threats in empty corners. This is where you introduce micro-movements. A curtain shifts slightly, a light flickers once, a character's breathing changes rhythm. Tiny signals. But the brain treats them as warnings. Instead of explosive scares, use escalation. Small discomfort. Pause. Slightly bigger discomfort. Pause longer. Each layer compounds tension. You are not trying to shock them. You're trying to trap them inside their own anticipation. And once they're trapped, even a normal sound feels dangerous. That's the power of controlled pacing. Now you deliver something. Not a jump scare, but a revelation. The hallway wasn't empty. It was never empty. The figure was always standing there, just outside the light. No loud sound, no sudden cut, just a slow realization. And realization hits harder than surprise, because surprise fades, but realization lingers. This is the kind of fear that follows people into their bedrooms. Not because something jumped at them, but because something was there the whole time. Suspense without jump scares works because it respects the mind. It doesn't attack the senses. It collaborates with imagination. And imagination is far more terrifying than any visual effect. When you delay answers, when you stretch silence, when you control pacing, you turn fear into a slow-burning infection. That's the kind of horror that stays for a substantial amount of time. It waits in the quiet corners of your mind long after. So next time you watch something unsettling, ask yourself, did it scare you? Or did it make you wait? Because waiting is where the real nightmare begins. If you're enjoying this breakdown of psychological horror, subscribe to Wired Nightmares. Next episode, we're diving into how real brain science explains why some fears refuse to leave you, even after the screen goes dark. And trust me, that one might follow you to sleep.